It's the end of the year, and you know what that means. It's time for those New Year's resolutions that you're going to make on January 1st, and you will probably abandon these resolutions by January 10th. Or, if you're lucky, February 1st instead. But what's the worst case scenario? You can always just try to lose those 10 pounds or pursue that new business idea the following year in 2022, because what difference does a year make when you have another 20 or 40 years ahead of you? Hello, I'm Armando. I'm your friendly neighborhood Toastmaster, Dungeon Master, Kung Fu martial artist, and enthusiast of wrestling, anime, video games, Asian dramas, and other geeky stuff. And I welcome you to Gentlemen of Action, the channel that covers finance, business, self-improvement, and topics on how to be a man that gets stuff done. And today I want to discuss the topic of sticking to your goals and your New Year's resolutions. Let me start off by saying that I did not plan on making this video because I really hate the idea of the New Year's resolution. And you're probably thinking, why are you hating on New Year's resolutions, Mondo? I mean, people just want to improve themselves. Isn't that like your whole deal? And right you are. This is my deal. But this is the deal that I promote all the time, not just during the time of the year where it's trendy and cool to do so. Now, gym memberships always seem to go through the roof during the month of January, and you can't find a place to work out for the first 3 or so months of the year. Now, granted, maybe during these COVID times, this is not exactly the right example because it's probably a little outdated, but I'm pretty sure that half of us are going to buy a treadmill or elliptical machine that will eventually, slowly convert into a very expensive clothing rack, which you will probably sell for about $50 in a garage sale or in a listing on OfferUp. Okay, enough with the jokes. You're probably here because you want some real solutions for them resolutions. And today we're going to talk about the different strategies and tips to help you stick with those New Year's resolutions and goals as much as possible. And some of them you may very well agree with, while others you may not like so much. But that's okay because a lot of this information is from my own experience. So let's get to that. Strategy number 1, start now, which, regardless if you're watching this on December 31st, January 1st, or sometime in July, this strategy is universally applicable. Just start now. The time of the year does not change who you are as a person. If you are unfocused, tired, and unhealthy right now, what difference will starting on January 1st do to make you an instantly more focused, less tired, and healthier person? Basically nothing. Why does waiting for that arbitrary date on a calendar make the goal even more achievable? It doesn't. It's actually more of a psychological thing to think that a new year means a new beginning. You know the old adage, new year, new you, complete sham, because every day is a new beginning, not just January 1st. Strategy number 2, be specific and start small. Now this strategy is self-explanatory, but honestly, I did not follow this advice until about 5 years ago. Basically, my goals would always be pretty abstract and not defined, such as have a YouTube channel, or learn Kung Fu, or become a millionaire. But as of late, I started realizing that having large goals from the very beginning, though being freaking awesome because they are very ambitious, make for some unrealistic expectations because achieving any one of these amazing goals will never happen in a reasonable amount of time since they are way too broad and not specific enough. So going back to the idea of starting small, the purpose of starting small is that when you start with a small goal that is specific and measurable, it's easier to scale up from small than it is to start off really big from the very beginning. Now, some would say that you should just start big and then scale down. But then you're potentially putting yourself in a position where you might just outright fail and maybe be demoralized from wanting to continue. Now, there's nothing wrong with having those small victories in order to continue having the dopamine feelings of success. And yes, I know, some of you may say, Armando, it's not good to set such low expectations. You need to go hard and go 100% from the very beginning. And I will respond to you by saying that maybe we should just change that mindset. So get your mindset right on the idea of the go big or go home idea. Because I believe the mindset of starting small is definitely the better idea. So imagine this. You start with the initial goal of exercising once a week. Most would say that's not at all ambitious enough, and you should instead start with exercising 3 days a week, because once a week is just being lazy. But the mindset I adopt here is that when you went from not exercising at all to what you're doing now, which is once a week, that's actually 4 workouts a month. Now that's a huge improvement, going from 0 to 4. Now the following month, you change that up a bit and you go to exercise twice a week or 8 workouts a month. And then you eventually go to 3 times a week, which is 12 workouts a month. Remember, it's all about your mindset, where starting with small goals will eventually become big goals, which will then eventually turn into successful habits. Speaking of successful habits, let's do some shameless marketing. If you're looking to learn some new skills this year, may I recommend Skillshare.com. Skillshare.com is an online community where instructors and creators, like myself, come together to teach others through digestible, learn-at-your-own-pace courses. Support me while learning something awesome by using my referral link below for a free trial. Full disclosure, I have been a consumer of Skillshare.com for over 2 years and use it as an outlet to promote my courses and teach others public speaking. Continuing on, strategy number 3, track your progress and adapt. Now this is the toughest part, besides starting of course, because it requires you to use a process for measuring your progress. Now, I personally use the MERC method, which stands for measure, evaluate, reassess, and change. Now, I created this process and made it into an acronym because I really like acronyms since they are catchy and easy to remember. But I digress. The purpose of tracking your progress is that when something is measured, it gets done. So using our fitness example, you will first measure how many days you have exercised, which is once a week, which you have successfully accomplished for approximately 1 month. You will then evaluate. In this case, you have determined or evaluated that once a week is easily done, and you're happy with those gains. Now it's time for you to reassess. Now ask yourself, is this current exercise plan too easy? What obstacles are getting in the way of me exercising? Should I go to a different gym or fitness studio? Am I a sexy specimen of man or beefcake yet? After asking all these important questions, you will then change. Or in this case, change your schedules to work out on both Mondays and Wednesdays instead of just Mondays. Modify your habits to make it easier to work out, such as prepping your food or your gym bag the night before. Basically, just try to make changes to take new actions to make it all happen. And strategy number 4, prioritize your health first. Up until now, all the examples I have been using in terms of keeping your goals and resolutions have related to working out and exercising. But remember, these strategies can be used for any type of goal for the new year, whether it's financial or career goals. The reason why you should always prioritize your health, though, is because your body is the equivalence of a machine. When you do not maintain a machine, it does not perform well. That's why you need to put gas and regularly change the oil in your car for it to work better. Now, we've all made the same mistake. When we're going to school, working overtime, or just trying to make it all happen, we tend to prioritize everything except our own health. For whatever reason, it seems to be the first thing to go for just about all of us. We don't cook as much, we don't sleep as much, and we just don't make enough time for maintaining our own bodies like we should be. I think the best decision that I have made recently was deciding to practice martial arts, or in this case, Kung Fu. It's a big sacrifice for me to go to Kung Fu class 3 to 4 times a week, and there's a lot of time that I put into getting ready for class, traveling to and from class, and learning all the techniques that I need to learn to teach others as a junior instructor. I put a total of about 10 to 15 hours a week into Kung Fu and fitness. If I were to put that much additional time into this content creation, I would probably have more videos done. But then again, the fact that I am healthier makes it easier for me to be more efficient. Prior to being as dedicated to fitness and health as I am now, I can honestly say that I was not as efficient as I am at this moment. So that extra 10 to 15 hours a week in Kung Fu has definitely made me perform better in all other aspects of my life. So make sure to always eat healthy, sleep well, and be active. Tired of all these boring health examples? Well, let's take another example, which is to establish good financial habits, or as I say, it's all about them gains. As in, capital gains. For example, let's say that you want to make $1 million with your investment portfolio. Now, I know we all want to be millionaires now, but unless you won the lottery or acquired 50 Bitcoins back in 2009, you're probably not going to be an instant millionaire. Even the Bitcoin investors needed to wait about 10 years to get there. And though you're not a millionaire now, you could probably be a millionaire in about 35 years by simply investing $600 a month. Don't believe me? Here are the maths. So, imagine that you start off with a starting balance of $0, which I'm pretty sure we can all do that. That's pretty easy. And what you do is you deposit or contribute about $600 a month or $150 a week. Now, I know that might be hard for some folks, but if anything, at least start with a little. But for the purposes of this example, we're going to assume that you're depositing or contributing $600 a month. And we're also going to make another assumption that you're going to have a return rate, meaning an investment gain or capital gains of 7% a year. Now, that means that for every $100, there's a modest expectation that you're going to make $107 from that $100, meaning $7 a year for every $100. Now, you're probably thinking, how does $600 being contributed every month for 35 years, which actually equals to $252,000, how does that become $1 million? And that, my good people, is from a beautiful thing called compound interest. Now, compound interest is definitely the boon and the real equation or the winning formula for accumulating and maintaining wealth. Now, I did mention that 7% is the return rate that's expected, but that's because that's a modest expectation of 7 to 10% per year is what most would expect with their investments. So we go with the low end. And there's going to be some years where you make 20%, there's going to be some years where you make 3%, but it's going to average out to about 7%. And this contribution of $252,000, because interest earned on those earnings go onto the main balance and then they compound, meaning that you're earning interest on top of your interest, equals to well over $1 million in approximately 35 years. And there you have it. 4 strategies to help you in sticking to those New Year's resolutions as well as achieving your goals regardless of the time of the year, which are to start now, be specific, and start small. Track your progress and adapt, as well as prioritize your health first. Use these strategies to kick all those goals right in the face. And if there's a business or improvement topic that you would like to be mentioned or discussed, please feel free to leave me a comment below with your suggestions. Also, if you like what I do around here, please give me a like and subscribe and some additional comments as well. Also, check out the description below to find more ways to support me and my crazy dreams. And when you make that commitment to kick ass, make sure that you do it with gentleman style.